Okay, on the bench today we have the Sinclair Spectrum Plus 3. I picked this up from auction. It's boxed. The polys are in good condition, but the box itself is a bit on the tatty side. Comes with power supply and joystick. No idea whether this is working or not. Thing you buy at auction, sold as seen. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm not going to power it up until I've tested the supply first. So that's what I'm going to do next. Right, okay, we're back. As you'll see from the following footage, we were getting 11 volts from the 5 volt line. Now I've replaced all bar one of the capacitors because I don't have that value in. It's on its way. But I did remove that capacitor. ESR was fine. And it was showing a drop in capacitance, but still within 20%. I'm not sure what the tolerance value is meant to be on these ones, but slightly more than 10% of a drop. So this is what I get now. There's been an improvement, but it's still not right, so let's plug this in. And if we go here, we have a 12 volts positive, and here we have a negative 12, or should have, on the right side. Getting this right at all. There we go, negative 12. And our 5 volt now showing 9.6 volts. So still not 5. Just unplug this. Now I've gone over the board and I've checked every component that I can check. All the diodes, I've had this transistor out and put it in the component tester, it's showing fine. Basically everything other than the IC. So basically that's what's going to have to come next. Now I have ordered them and they've arrived. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this out, because we need the regulated 5 volts and we're not getting it. So this IC has to go. Just going to add a little fresh solder here first. And then we'll get the soldering gun. Get this removed. Right, now the ICs are, it's an adjustable voltage regulator basically. And I think that might just be a problem. We'll soon find out. Right, that looks fine. Right, let's see what happens when we plug this back in. Right. Let's check these voltages again. So should be plus 12, and it is, and minus 12, and it is. Please be 5. Yes. Thank God for that. Right, I'm just going to do one final check just to be sure. So we should have, I think, minus 12 in this one. We do. We should have 12. Yep, 12. Helps if you touch it. There we go, 12 and 5 and 5. There we go, spot on. Right, so that's that. Confirmed. Definitely working. Tangled all over the place here. Right, let's get the computer out. Right, so that's our supply working. Yeah, no, plus 12, minus 12 and 5 volts. So we can give this thing a test now. I got a Scart cable, RGB Scart cable from Retro Computer Shack, so I can hook that up to my TV to the right of me. That plugged in. TV on. I'll have to record a bit of footage on my phone for this TV. Okay, that's that ready. So, plug in the power supply. And cross our fingers. Okay, got noise from the floppy drive. We have a red light, and let's see what we have on the screen. Right, okay, so that's not great, but the guys that make this cable, they do have information on fixing an issue with these machines regarding the blanking signal. So it's likely that's what the problem is, so I'm going to have to get this thing opened up because we have to change a resistor. I think it's a case that it works with some TVs but not all. So I think that's going to be the case with this one, so let's get it open. Got 2 screws on the side there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So I'll get these ones out first. Okay, that's us in. So the resistor in question is this one here, R44, It's a 1k resistor that's in. And you have a couple of options. You could add an additional 1k resistor in parallel with the existing one, or you can take that one out and put a 470 in. And I think for neatness, I think I'll just remove that one and replace it. So first things first, let's get this board out. A few more screws to remove. We will be replacing the drive belt on this. I would imagine it's perished, but we'll get round to that. Right, all screws removed. Yep. Okay, that's that. I think I've also it's in pretty nice condition. In fact, I have a feeling that there's probably bits of the old drive belt, which you can see are just breaking up in my fingers there. So, yeah, in fact, now that I'm looking at it, you can see more of it here. Definitely done. Right. Okay, let's get this resistor out and get it replaced with a 470. Just make sure I take out the right one. Got it. Okay, it's this one here. Get this other resistor in. Another bit of the drive belt. Right, so sitting exactly straight. Right, okay, I think we can give it another quick taste. Again, I'll have to use my phone to record the screen. Just get this set up. Right, as you would see from the little bit of footage there, the screen was just flashing constantly. We had the full colour, it looked crisp enough, but yeah, flashing away. I thought maybe there was a problem, but then I thought, well, let's try it on a different TV. So I hooked it up to another TV, and it seemed fine on that one. So what I did was I went and got another portable TV for in here for testing. And this is the result. I'll just bring it up on the webcam. And there we go, as you can see. It's working away fine. Yep. No problems there. So there wasn't actually an issue, it was just that particular TV. It just wasn't having it regardless. Without the resistor mod, I mean, it was flashing and it was black and white and blurry and just a complete mess. With the mod done, it still wasn't quite right. It just couldn't seem to lock on to the RGB signal. So, right, so I think next up we'll work on this. I'll get the belt replaced. I mean, we've been dropping bits of perish belt everywhere. We'll get that done. We'll also re-grease what's needing re-greased and cleaned and so on. Now, everything's actually looking in pretty good condition on this. The head looks very clean. I will give it another clean anyway while I'm in here. But yeah, so that's next. After that, a common issue with these is poor quality sound. So I'll get that done as well. It's just a case of replacing a few resistors and adding additional ones in. But we'll get to that once we've got the drive done, and we'll go through that. So right, let's get all this moved out the way and we'll get working on the drive. Right, let's get this thing apart. What have we got? We've got bits of belt everywhere, look at this. More bits. Not going to take much to remove the belt because there's not going to be much left in it by the looks of that. And it's proper squishy. Right, so what have we got on the bottom here? 3 screws. So we'll start by getting these out. And it's got a little washer. This one has got a washer as well, but a different type, so we'll keep them separate. And another smaller screw here. Again, it's got a little split washers on it. Right, I've got some cables that'll have to come out as well. Just get my tweezers. That's that one, and I've got this one here. There we go. That's that. So it should allow us to get in here a bit. room to work. Just have to remember to put that back in. Right. Okay, I think the cable's just sitting just in here. Or what's left of it. There's another piece here. And here. And here. Yep. Still a few pieces attached to this part here. Can I set this to the side of it? Get a bit easier. Yeah, we do have some that's kind of stuck. Get the majority off, then I can clean it with a cotton bud. Use the torch and shine down here so I can. Yeah, it's going to need a clean as well. Can't see any old bits of belt on there. Then if we give ourselves a bit more room to work with. Yeah, if I can just bend that up slightly. Allow me to get this wire off. That's that one. Don't think we're going to get this one. Yeah. I'll just see if we can look like this. Yep, that looks fine. We have the pin that I'll have to put back in again. Yeah, I believe it's in here. There we go. Hopefully that won't fall back out without me noticing. Just got to grab the new belt. That's a replacement. So, oops. Drop this in here. Hook it round. Go and then here. few turns just to make sure it seats itself in place. That looks fine. Yep. Pin's still in place. So let's get this back in. Slips underneath. Screws back in, start with a small one. Here. And this one. Make sure the washer's back on. That's it. Right, a fresh cotton bud for this. Give the head a bit of a clean. I say it looks pretty clean anyway. There we go, that'll do that. We'll get this old grease off. Again, just a cotton bud and some isopropyl. Stuff on there. I'll just apply a tiny amount there as well. Top of that. Okay, that should be plenty enough. Okay. Yep, happy with that. Generally speaking, the rest of it's actually very clean. Right. Okay, so next up is we'll get the board back on the bench, and we'll do the audio fix on board. Then it'll just be a case of get all back together, and we'll run through the onboard diagnostics. We can test the joystick as well. We can test both ports. And once it arrives, I've actually had to order a disc from eBay, and that wasn't cheap. I think, what was it, £16-17 for a game, and that was the cheapest one that I could find. The rest were silly money. So yeah, as soon as that arrives, we'll do the final test, which is loading up, in this case, world class leaderboard, I think it was, that I ordered. Not played that in a long time, and hopefully that will be it, complete and working perfectly. Right, let's get this board done. Right, the drive's done. We're going to do the audio fix on the board. It's more or less just replacing the values of capacitors around the board. We've also got to modify this transistor. We're going to lift the leg and put a 10k resistor in between the base of the transistor and the board where we desoldered the leg. So let's get started getting these out. I'll just use the desolder station for quickness. So I'm going to take out R43 and R42 first. Let's just make sure I get the right ones. So it's these ones here. Set the temperature. Too well. Biggest problem is the fact that the legs are bent over. It can be a bit of an issue. Okay. Hopefully they should just pop out now. Tweezers. One. And two. Outside. So R42 is a 1.2K. Unfortunately, the quota watt resistors that I have are all blue, and R40. Oh, so we get them in the wrong place there. That should be in here. And R43 is a 5.6K. Blue tack, just to hold these down. I'll solder them in. these off. Okay. I also replaced the resistor I'd already replaced for the blanking signal. It was a ½ watt resistor I put in there, and it kind of stood out like a sore thumb with the bigger size, so I've replaced that for a ¼ watt as well. Again, unfortunately, blue in colour. Right, so next up we've got R62. I've just got to find where that is on the board. Right. 62 is up here in the corner there. So that one's next. This one just here. That's all the main resistors in place. I'll fix that a bit. There's quite a bit of solder had come through the board there, create a big blob on this side. Right, so what we got, R42 is now a 1.2K, R43 is a 5.6, R62, which is this one's a 1.5, R63, where's 63 now? R63 there, I think it is. R63 is a 2.2 K resistor, R64, which is this one here, is a 6.8 now. R67 is this one, this one is 15K, and R72, which is this one, is now an 820 ohm resistor. So that's them done. So the next one I'm going to do is on this leg of the transistor. So I'll start by desoldering the leg on this side of the board. So I'll do this one. Try and carefully lift this out. Show you where this is going to go. Lift it up. Obviously not wanting that to break off. I'm going to snip a little bit off here. And 10K resistor for this part. So plan would be, I've got a bit of solder on this, the remainder of that leg, and I'm going to get the resistor and go through the hole. solder this leg in place, make it a bit easier to work. I'm just going to bend this round, set the bit there, and solder it on. Okay, that's joined fine. And again, just get rid of this excess. Connected nicely. Happy enough with that. Right, now finally the 10k resistor. It's going to go in here. I'll just pre-tin. Well, I mean, already soldered, but I'll add extra solder, fresh stuff. It's going to go between these 2 points. So the legs trimmed down, hopefully just right. So I'll go from there and there. So let's start giving some of these a bit of a clean and fix. So that's everything in, resistor on the back. And we have the resistor on the leg of the transistor there, the leg that's been lifted up. So that's basically that. What I'll do is I'll leave a link to the page. It has still images on it. That'll make it that little bit easier to follow. Right, so that's that hopefully done. So all that's really left now is to get this thing back in its case, get this reinstalled. Zoom out a little. Yep, get this back in and we'll give it a little test of world class leaderboard here to test it. So right, I'll get that done. I'll not bother doing that on camera. It's just the reverse of taking it all out. I'll be back shortly. Right, I started piecing that back together there and realised there was something that I forgot to do, and that is this ceramic capacitor here. You see that one? It is C33, I think that is. Needs removed. So I'm just going to snip it from the board. I'm going to go to the effort of desoldering it. Right, so that's definitely it this time. So I'll continue getting this back together and then we'll come back for testing. Right, that's us all back together and ready for testing. So let's power this on. Okay, that's on. Let's bring up the screen. And there we go. Nice clear image. So I think the first thing we'll do is we'll run a few diagnostics, and then we'll test the drive by loading in the game. So if I hold down brake and press reset, okay, just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna have to hook up my little amplifier. I'm going through this Scart to HDMI, and it needs a separate audio plugged in. Right, now it's QAZ and PLM. Okay, that's that. There we go. So running through the tests. Fine. Symbol shift and A. Okay, let's check the keyboard. There we go, all good. Okay, so up, down, left, right, and fire. So port 1's fine. Let's try port 2. Up, down, left, right, and fire. Right. I think these next tests are like set and testing the drive. So we'll skip past them for now. So let's just reset the machine. Right. Grab a game. Right, okay, everything seems to be testing fine. I'm quite happy with it. So I'll just have a little recap and point out that's what I'm using for Scart to HDMI. This is one of the ones recommended by the boy from Retro Computer Shack who produces the Scart cables. The one I initially used was just a low cost one. Now, I already had this before I got the cable. Low cost one from Amazon. All that would produce was a black screen, so yeah, I definitely recommend that one. As far as the work done on the machine, started with the power supply, which was outputting 11 volts on the 5-volt line. Recapped it, and that brought it down to about 9 volts. It did make a difference, but not enough. Replaced then the regulator IC, and that was it. It was fine. It was producing the 5 volts more or less bang on, and obviously the 12 volt was fine to begin with. So that was that done. So that allowed for further testing. Did have a few issues initially with getting the small TV that I was using. It just wouldn't sync properly at all. Just kept flashing, and I had the dark screen. So I did the modification for the blanking signal. Links to all this stuff, to pages that describe this stuff, will be in the video description. So I've done that, but it was still flashing. Replaced the TV, and it was fine. The Scart worked fine. It was just the other TV just wasn't having it. It wasn't having it, no matter what I did. So that was that. Worked on the drive, replaced the belt, cleaned, greased. I mean, the belt was proper perished in this one. It was disintegrated. There was bits of it falling everywhere. That was that done. Then I did the audio fix for this one. Basically replacing resistors and adding a couple of additional resistors into the circuit and taking out a capacitor. It was all pretty straightforward, and from what I can tell, the sound's fine. No problems at all with it. So just, generally the machine's up and running fine. Really happy to add this to the collection. It was one I didn't have, so all I'm left to get now is the 128K toast rack. So I will be on the lookout for one of them going cheap, faulty or otherwise. Right, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, then please subscribe to the channel. It's always appreciated. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.